Welcome back! We're playing some more Factorio Space Age and have just returned to our home planet Novice after a successful conquest on Vulcanus. Once we return, I spend some time rearranging our space platform to fit some cargo bays for expanded inventory space. They have to connect to this big square at the center though, so it requires some reorganizing. It's messy, but it works. After our extended absence, the most concerning thing about the state of Novice is that the biters have gotten bolder. They're encroached uncomfortably close to our factory, so we'll need to clear them out again. Thankfully, they haven't attacked much since our factory's been dormant and not producing pollution. A few minutes later, we complete our first research with our new metallurgic science packs. Now my achievement hunter curse is lifted and we can unleash our true diabolical power. Luckily, someone left these fully functional factories for yellow and purple science just sitting here almost completely finished. How forward-thinking of them. While that boots up, we can set up some combinator magic to automatically request specific items from our various space platforms and load them into a provider chest for use on Novice. This chest is set to receive all of our imports from Vulcanus. That's drills, foundries, calcite, and tungsten. With all these new science packs comes a bunch of new upgrades too. Cliff explosives will finally let us destroy those pesky cliffs in our way and build pretty much anywhere on Novice. Beacons will be an important part of our late game builds, letting us apply speed or efficiency modules to nearby machines. For now, we can use them to make our rocket silos work faster. Elevated rail can cross oceans or lakes and will be particularly useful for our next planetary excursion. And assembling machine 3s are a nice easy way to boost the speed of our older factories here on Novice, plus they've got more slots for modules. Speaking of module slots, we've got some fresh foundries imported from Vulcanus which we have just got to use for our smelting over here. I'm putting our foundries relatively close to our cargo landing pad since that's where our calcite from Vulcanus will be arriving. This is a good opportunity to build up our train infrastructure a little bit. Here are some drop-off stations for iron and copper ore. And we'll export molten iron and copper to be used elsewhere. Believe it or not, we only need 4 beaconed up foundries for 2 full red belts of ore. These things are fast. This won't need a lot of calcite, so it can be brought in via logistic bots, saving us the trouble of routing a belt all the way up here. And to get the ore, we can use big mining drills here too, giving us a faster output while effectively doubling the total resource yield. Efficiency modules as usual, since these guys are high in both pollution and energy usage. Oh geez, I didn't even see these biters here. Our flamethrower and bullet combo works just fine for the more recent arrivals, but it won't quite cut it for the larger nests. That's why we need artillery, an essential tool for large-scale biter cleanups. Its ammo is a bit expensive, requiring tungsten, calcite, explosives, and an entire radar, but it's well worth it for the ability to take down biters while we're safe at home. Okay, some damage and range upgrades couldn't hurt either, but at the very least it'll soften up those nests for us to easily knock out when we arrive. Anyway, we can finish hooking up our new smelting rig by casting the molten iron into iron plates and steel to feed into our pre-existing factory lines. There's only one downside. I forgot these things use way more power than anything else in our factory so far, so coal power just won't cut it anymore. It's time to embrace our inner Oppenheimer and go nuclear. Uranium fuel cells require a little bit of iron, which we can get from up here, combined with the processed uranium that's been building up since episode 2. Nuclear reactors turn those fuel cells into heat, and we get more heat by placing them adjacent to each other like this. Importantly, reactors will keep consuming fuel even after they hit max temperature. It won't explode or anything, but it's a waste of perfectly good uranium. So we can use circuits to read the temperature value and only insert new fuel when the reactors cool down. Using all that heat in a heat exchanger lets us boil water into steam. Finally, that steam will be converted into electricity by using a whole lot of steam turbines. Now that's more like it. Over 10 times as much power as our entire coal infrastructure. Okay, back to unlocking more shiny new technology. We can give ourselves an armor upgrade as a treat. Power Armor Mark II gives us quite a bit of extra space for both inventory and equipment, which we can use to boost our passive offense and movement speed. We've also got Personal Battery Mark IIs for extra power storage, and a portable fission reactor to give us horrible radiation poisoning. Uranium ammo deals lots of damage, and it's a step up from red ammo, so let's go ahead and set that up. Nope, look both ways, kids. We can also use this new ammo up on our space platforms, but it's very expensive to send into orbit, so it's more of an emergency last resort kind of thing. Now we've finally got the tools to expand our territory even further. They catch me with a surprise counterattack here, but nothing we can't fend off. This narrow choke point is a great spot for a wall. My goal here is to carve out a big chunk of biter-free land protected by an army of laser turrets. Blueprints and construction bots are going to be essential for this. Alright, the area north of our factory is now much safer, so we can expand our rail network up here and hook up some more oil extraction. I should really do the same for the area to the south near our nuclear power, but frankly, I'm super bored of doing biter stuff and itching to do some space stuff instead. Surely there will be no negative ramifications of this decision. Our next planetary adventure will be to Fulgora, a world decorated with the ruins of a long-dead civilization. That's why I'm naming our new space platform the Harthian Lander. It's not the most accurate name, since it literally does not ever land, but I can't resist a good Outer Wilds reference. If you haven't played it, you really should. It'll take some time and a lot of rockets to launch all the materials we need up there, so while that happens, we can design this platform to avoid the mistakes we made with our last one. The cargo bays are going to go right next to the central hub for inventory space, and behind them we'll make our fuel and oxidizer for the engines. Storage tanks are important for building up enough fuel between trips. Just like before, we'll have turrets at the front to protect us from asteroids, but we'll also put some grabby hands up there to collect the resources that they drop. Last time we used a separate collector for each resource type to ensure that we had enough of each, but we're going to try a different approach this time using asteroid reprocessing research that we unlocked from Vulcanus. These crushers in the center will monitor this fun circular belt to see if we have too much of a certain resource type, and then crush any extra chunks into the other two types. It'll help keep our supply of all three different types of resources balanced in the long run. All this empty space can fit some solar panels and a couple extra turrets. Over here in the upper right is where we'll make ammo. It makes our final design a little bit lopsided, which I kinda like. It's got that Hearthian charm. The platform's ready to go, so let's take it for a spin. Of course, there are still some issues to work out. The power consumption is a bit too high and the central belt loop can clog up, but otherwise it works like a charm, and we make it to Fulgora in one piece. Next time, we'll see what this new planet has to offer. Thanks for watching.